This is Betsy Wiersma, and a wonderful thing happened during COVID. We had a COVID baby. A baby, a COVID baby. What are we talking about? Well, while all of us were hunkered down and being safe and being socially distanced, 62 brave women came together to share their story. 62 women said yes to writing a 1,000-word essay to uplift and inspire the world. 62 women brought the ingredients of their best self. Those ingredients were perseverance. Those ingredients were joy. Those ingredients were, gosh, it's such a yummy mix, it's hard to even capsulize them. But they all had one thing in common. Those women with those yummy ingredients mixed together stayed in the crock pot for 4 months and became a most yummy stew. Welcome to the Stew Authors. We are so happy to greet everyone as we are here today, and we are so happy to welcome the world to hear some of the stories behind the scene of the stew. So this was going to be a live event, but because of the COVID opportunity, we get to have a virtual event. And since everything works out in our favor, I think the good news about this is we can be now here live on Facebook and record this so people can hear and meet some of our amazing stew authors. Past experiences with Gina Schreck have included sleeping in a hotel room where we noticed that the blankets made a light show of static when we moved them, and we were sharing a queen size bed at a women's retreat one time, and we needed to not only sit and laugh for half an hour of the light show we made with the static blankets, but then put on belly dancing attire and move to the groove ourselves at the women's retreat. Ladies, welcome the amazing Gina Schreck.
Thank you.
Yay. Yay.
Yay.
Well, Gina and I go so far back. To the day
we were just wee tots.
We were wee tots to the day I saw her diamond ring. I didn't know her, and I said, "Hello, that is a really nice diamond ring you have." That was my intro. And she said, "Yes," and this nice guy sitting next to me got it for me, and I met her husband, Kirk. Oh my gosh, that was in.
So see, that song really should be "Diamonds Make a Girl's Best Friend," or
"That's
"Diamonds
right.
Find a Girl's Best Friend." Yeah.
Diamonds attract someone to make a comment that make you to be a girl's best friend. Well, Gina, you're a professional speaker. You are a marketing maven, a social media guru, and then in the middle of everything, right before an international pandemic, you invested your life savings in a co-op workspace because that's what you do, right? What the heck?
You do. You say, what should we do? We should create a beautiful space for people to gather right before the world shuts down. Actually, the pandemic has been great for us because people are still needing offices. Unfortunately, we have lots of offices and meeting rooms. And I have to admit, because we're in the midst of packing here at our house, all my copies of the stew book are in the office.
But your dogs are not, because I hear your darling dogs.
Yes, of course. And of course, they were silent until I unmuted my microphone. So they're well trained.
Well, welcome to our Facebook Live telecast. Anyone who's just signing on, these women have come together and had a baby, which I lovingly call during the COVID crisis. And we took lemons and made lemonade, but actually we made a stew. It's a yummy mix of opinion and ideas and art and poetry and song lyrics and 62 people and some cute dogs. Dogs are always in our mix, and cute dogs that have come together to save the world one story at a time in an art and inspiration book called The Stew. If you're interested in one, go to campexperience.com/shop, and you can get a copy. Today's author that we're talking to right now is Gina Schreck. Gina, introduce yourself and say the name of your story.
Okay, I'll introduce myself. You tell me the name of the story because I have it in my head, kind of, but
I will remind you the name of your story.
But I know I wrote this story because it really is near and dear to my heart of all the things that as women we tell ourselves we cannot do, and how important it is to really focus on the things we can do. And in my life, I 25 years ago started a business, have had a marketing business, I've been a professional speaker, and now still have the marketing business, but then we also own and operate a co-working space, the Village Workspace. And so it's a great place to gather. Oh, there's okay, you think I can read that tiny font
It's
their own
called
lesson. That's what I was going to say. It's
Lessons
not their
from
Lessons from
Oz.
Oz, because I love the movie Wizard of Oz. And I think part of it is, so often growing up, I would always think I can't do something because of this failure, or because I couldn't do it before. Or we have a long laundry list, especially as women. We have a list of things that we have tried and failed, or that we attempted to start and never did. And I really feel like, as women, we need to start keeping a laundry list of amazing things we have accomplished. Whether it's, I balanced my checkbook for the first time when you're, in your 20s, whether it's, I was a single mom and have, my children survived, and I didn't leave them at the daycare past closing time all the time. And so, whatever we do right, we need to keep a list of those things, because when we go to attempt something new that's big and scary, we need to open up that list and look at that and say, these are the things that I've done before that were hard. I mean, our mantra in the last 2 years as we were building the Village Workspace was, I can do hard things. And it just became this mantra, I can do hard things, because I had this list of, look at all the things in my life that I've done. I was a single mom. I've got remarried and have 4 children now, and have survived my son being at Columbine, and have survived. I mean, I've had so many things in my life that I look at and say, I've done that hard thing. There's nothing I can't do. And it came from in the Wizard of Oz, when the Scarecrow asked Dorothy, when the Glinda the Good told her, you've had everything you always needed right with you. And the Scarecrow said, well, what did you have? What was it? What did you learn about yourself? And we have to really pause, I think, as women, and take inventory of what we have, and the strength we have, and the amazing things we've done, so that when we tackle that next thing, we don't say, oh, I can't do that because I'm too, I can't do it because I'm too old. And that was my thing this time. I was saying, okay, I'm 55, my ship has sailed. I think I've come to that point where it's, the dream has already, it's too late. And I woke up the next morning going, the ship is still in the harbor. I need to make this happen. And I just think it's a message for all women and all people, but especially women. We tend to keep that list of bad things too close.
Well, I will read you from your own story the quote you begin with from your Lessons from Oz. It says,
yes.
You don't need to be helped any longer. You have had everything you need. You've always had it. And that's the great and powerful Wizard of Oz, right? Or
Right.
the great and powerful Gina telling you the story in the Stew book. You touched on a few really important things. And again, I find in my podcasting, I find in my marketing, people make up stories about successful people, right? So Gina Schreck, stage and screen, book author,
right,
very busy on social media. No one knows things like your son was in Columbine and your husband drove while the active shooter was happening.
yeah.
He rescued kids off the street corner.
Yeah.
What kind of lesson? I know it's so hard to look back at anything tragic like we just talked about with Jill and say, what's the gift in there? But can you see anything from your son in Columbine, for those of you listening maybe around the world? That was a tragic, one of the very first school shootings here in Colorado. Very, very tragic. And can you see anything that's a gift
so
of
many
Columbine?
things. And it's interesting because it's not necessarily that he was at the school at the time of the shooting and that he was spared, but the 4 years after, because he was a freshman that year, the 4 years after is where I feel like people can connect to the story, because it's hard to connect with, wow, her son was at Columbine during the shootings. That's like mind-blowing, and we can't connect to it. But what most people with teenagers can connect to is the 4 years after that. We were in a spiral of losing our son to drugs, to running away, to not having a relationship with us. And that was I can remember praying, going, God, why did you save him at Columbine? And then we're going to lose him this way. Like, why wouldn't he have been taken then? And then we would have had these memories. I don't know. It was a terrible time in our life for 4 years. And now I look back and I'm able to connect with women, especially who have teenagers, that they're going, I don't know how I'm going to survive this. And I go, girl, you will survive it. And you will be there. You'll go through this and you'll be there for someone else in 4 years who's then starting. So, I mean, I feel like our stories are our ways to connect with women who are just starting the journey that we have already been on. And it's not to say we've done these amazing things, but it's to turn around and say, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And yeah, I think there's so many things in that journey, just in that one nugget of my life that I've learned from that. And it really was that things always seem so dark. But that's when we need to take out the list and say, you know what, but I've done a lot of hard things before. And this will be one that may be one of the hardest things up to this point, but I know I'll make it. And hearing other women's stories is just such an amazing tool for us to be inspired to say, okay, they did that. I might be able to do this. I didn't think I could. I thought I was alone.
Well, I think, I'm not going to ask you that question then. What do you want women to know? Because I think if we can all chant, we can do hard things.
Hard things.
We can do hard things. That would be an amazing chant for all of us to stand together as we say that, because every single person on this call, every single story that isn't in the Stew book is in the world. Every single person can give back to each other doing hard things. This is Gina Schreck. She's a podcaster. She's a social media maven. She has the Village Workspace, which always has delicious coffee. There's wine in the fridge if you're ever looking for it. Snacks, dogs, a children's playroom, a place you can nurse or nap. For some of us, we're in the generation of nap. Others could be in the generation of nurse. But I'm going with the nap at the Village. And Gina, you're a pleasure to call, one of my best friends on earth. And I just look forward to many, many more years of serving with you.
Big love to you. Big love to everybody. And you can do hard things.
The crowd goes wild doing hard things together.
Yay!
Okay, so to end today, I want to do a shout out to our friend Cindy Tyler. She was not able to join us on the call today. Cindy Tyler's company, Vervante, is the publisher of The Stew, and this is how this worked. I was with a random person one day saying that I wanted to put my art into a card deck, and she was only sent to me for that interaction to tell me, have you heard of Vervante? It's a women-owned publishing company that helps people's dreams come true. And I never, ever saw that person again, right? It's one of those angels that dropped into my life to deliver one purpose, to tell me about Vervante. So the great backstory is I call and I say, hey, I'm an artist. I have these angels I've been making. I like to make a card deck. And I've got a marketing idea. What if I put Vervante on the card deck? Can I negotiate a better deal in my printing? And the person on the other end of the phone says, yeah. And I said, well, don't you have to ask your boss about that, or, to get a better deal? And she said, I am the boss. This is Cindy Tyler. I'm the creator of Vervante. I love your enthusiasm. I'd love to partner with you. I'll give you a good deal on your card deck. Let's go. And that was now before 2 card decks, 3 journals, 5 sets of cards, holiday cards, and the creation of The Stew. And this illustration is just to say to everyone listening that it's about the journey and the people you ask for help, right? Christy's got a curriculum, easy for me to say, curriculum coming out in 2021 when you might be listening to this podcast. It's because of everyone standing together that we help each other. We find the resources we need. And it's because of these amazing authors that we have The Stew. So just to recount at the end of our telecast today, The Stew is Smart Talk, Exceptional Women. It is a 200-page art and insight book. The art is mostly by me. There's a couple pieces by others. We can all hold up our Stew books. And the art was done in intention to create a really small book. But when I thought and prayed about it, I heard that book is about your girls. That book is all your girls. So everybody hold up your book. I'm going to snap a quick picture because we are multitasking. This is a so good picture. I got to wait for just a second as Christy gets her book. So this book was created to be a gift to people of the world. It is 62 stories of women who write uplifting insights and ideas, and it is available at campexperience.com/shop. That's campexperience.com/shop. And yes, it is Arts and Insights, The Stew, Smart Talk, Exceptional Women. And it is available at any time. It's available now. It goes to the Vervante bookstore. and you will be able to get your copy. We will have events in the future. Jill has a great idea about a book club event. Christy will help us join together and celebrate as a VIP event as soon as we can join together. And so many of the authors have such good work in the world. So check them all out on campexperience.com/the stew. And we appreciate all of the time and the energy for the authors coming together in this digital format. We appreciate the heartfelt sharing of your story. We appreciate your love and support for this crazy project. Again, we call out Megan Osgood, the organizer. We call out Carol Calkins and Carrie, her associate editor. We call out Melissa Lavad, the amazing designer that made this happen. And we call out and say thank you to all of you who are supporting women coming together for art and insights for the world. This has been your hostess and stew mother, organizer, curator Betsy Wiersma, and the authors from the stew. And we look forward to more times we can come together to share as we do good and have fun. Thank you so much for enjoying this call today, and have a wonderful, wonderful journey in your life, uplifted and inspired by others who are all here happy to help you.